Yo quiero estar contigo, vivir contigo, bailar contigo, tener contigo una noche loca. This video is all about motivation and discipline. And motivation is easy to come by. It's easy to be motivated to learn Spanish. There's tons of different reasons you might want to learn Spanish. Motivation is that end goal that you have in mind. Why do you want to learn Spanish? Discipline is what trips most people up. Most people don't have the discipline to stick with it and continue on in their Spanish learning journey on those boring, not so exciting days. And if you, mi amigo or mi amiga, want to maintain that discipline that it takes to reach fluency, you've really got two options, and I'm going to explain them in just a minute. And the bottom line is that one of the big reasons many people who start learning Spanish or any other language fail to follow through on it and never reach their goals, never reach fluency, is because they don't have the discipline to stick with it. And I get it that sometimes life gets in the way, right? You get busy, maybe you go 2 days without studying or practicing your Spanish, then you get kind of lazy, those 2 days turn into 2 weeks, 2 weeks turns into 2 months, and all of a sudden, 2 years later, you've gone from being someone who is learning Spanish to someone who was going to learn Spanish. Now, of course, I'm not talking about you, actually. I know that you are serious about your Spanish because you're here, you're watching this channel, and I know you're not going to quit, right? But I also know that sometimes it gets tough for all of us, and a lot of people make that "I just don't have the time" excuse, and I can sympathize with that. I mean, it's a busy world, we're all busy for different reasons, right? But if you're going to honestly tell me that you don't have the time to learn Spanish, I'm going to tell you that you're just not making it a priority, because all of us have got at least 5 minutes every day to practice our Spanish or to practice whatever we may be learning, right? Even on your busiest days, you are going to have at least 5 minutes to practice. And those 5 minutes can be the difference between sort of totally losing it and keeping that momentum enough. That 5 minutes is going to keep that momentum. That way you don't totally lose track of your Spanish and you don't totally lose motivation and get into that whole 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years cycle that I mentioned before. All of us have got at least 5 minutes per day to practice our Spanish if we make it a priority. And if you're going to tell me that you don't have 5 minutes to practice your Spanish, then I'm going to tell you to go practice saying basic Spanish phrases when you're taking a shower or when you're sitting on the toilet or anything else like that. And I'm also going to tell you to stop making excuses because you've got 5 minutes. Anyway, as I was saying earlier, when it comes to motivation and discipline, you've got really two options. You have to do one of two things. You can either enjoy the process thoroughly and really love studying every day, and to do that you're probably going to have to find a study method that you just really enjoy, or you have to want to achieve your end goal badly enough that you push yourself through the moments where you're not really enjoying it that much and it's kind of boring or difficult. And the reality is that most of us are going to fall into that second category. We're ultimately probably not going to enjoy every minute of every day of the language study process. Of course, there are going to be moments during the learning journey that are fun for all of us, right? I mean, everybody, or at least close to everybody, is going to have fun when they go out and practice their Spanish on Latin dance night at their favorite club when they're singing and dancing Enrique Iglesias songs, right? Yo quiero estar contigo, vivir contigo, bailar contigo, tener contigo una noche loca. And by the way, that is the second time in like 2 weeks that I've sung Enrique Iglesias songs in these videos. So next week I'm probably going to come out with a new video series like how to learn to sing like Enrique Iglesias as a non-native speaker with no singing experience. So drop a comment down below if you'd love to see that channel. I'm just kidding. But please do drop a thumbs up down below if you appreciate my musical efforts. Anyway, back to the topic. Although there are undoubtedly going to be moments during your Spanish learning journey that truly are enjoyable and fun, there are also going to be moments that are just not that fun and that are boring, and you're going to have to push through those. And the way you're going to push through those is by having an end goal in mind, something that you really want, something that you need to learn Spanish. You're going to have to really need it in order to push through those moments. Am I making myself clear? And another benefit, I don't know if this will serve as more motivation to some of you guys and girls, but if you push through those moments and you really do have the discipline to get through the boring, difficult times, it can make the fun times even more fun, because then your Spanish will be better for those times, and maybe you can go to the club and actually sing good Enrique Iglesias lyrics, right? Okay, so how do you do this? How do you do at least one of those two things that I mentioned in order to actually reach your goal and become fluent in Spanish? Well, if you're going for option one, which is to truly enjoy the learning process and love every minute of it, then you're probably, well, you are going to have to find a learning style and a method of study that you really enjoy. And that's probably, for most people, probably going to be an interactive method of study. You're going to have maybe a study buddy or a native Spanish speaker who wants to practice with you every day or on a very regular basis. It helps if you could have like a significant other, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife that speaks Spanish. I'm not trying to influence your personal life here. Go look for a Spanish speaking spouse. That helps a lot. Anyways, that's probably the most ideal and most enjoyable situation, is to have someone to actually practice with in person every day, especially if it's a native Spanish speaker. Now, I realize that might not be available to you, and you might not want to go the wedding ring route just to practice your Spanish. But there's a lot of other ways to do it. You could also get a tutor. Check out the link below for a Spanish 55 tutor if that interests you. Also, feel free to leave a comment down below if you have a fun, engaging method of study that you think other people might want to try. Now, if you're going to be one of the regular people, like me, who doesn't necessarily enjoy every minute of the study process and can't always have a fun, engaging study session every day, then you're gonna have to find a way to go through with option number two, which is to push through it, to find a way to have an end goal that you really want and need badly enough that you push through even on those boring days. How are you gonna do that? Well, two big things. Number one, you need to constantly remind yourself of what is your end goal. You need to maybe even put up a daily reminder. I don't know, put something up on your mirror, on your refrigerator, explaining to yourself why you need to learn Spanish. Put a reminder on your phone, anything. Just remind yourself every day when you go to study why you're doing it. And then the other thing is, have a routine. I've talked about this before, guys. Have a study routine. I recommend doing it in the morning. Why? Because I'm less distracted. All of my friends aren't awake sending me messages. I'm just kidding, I don't actually have any friends. But if I did have friends, I'm thinking you probably have friends. Your friends maybe are still sleeping and are not gonna be sending you messages. Anyway, the point is, I find that it's easier to study in the morning because there are less distractions. My brain is a little bit fresher. I just feel sharper overall. But set up a study session, a routine that you get into every day. That way it just becomes second nature. You don't even think about it. You don't have to motivate yourself every day. Just make it a routine and have the discipline to stick to it. That's all I got for you guys for this video. So what I want you to go do now is to really ask yourself, why are you learning Spanish? What is your end goal? How bad do you really want it? Do you need it? Do you really need to learn Spanish? Because ultimately that's probably what it's gonna take for you to get through those boring, not so exciting study days and study sessions where you just don't feel like it. Because it's very rare that you're gonna be the type of person that really enjoys every minute of it. I of course encourage you to try to find ways to liven up your study sessions and just make things more exciting in general. But the reality is, it's probably not gonna be that exciting every day. So you have to find a way to have that discipline and stick with it even through those more boring moments. And when it gets boring, just remember how rewarding it's gonna be when you finally reach fluency. Feel free to leave a comment down below if there's anything you wanna add. Drop the old thumbs up if you like the video, and do not marry someone just because you wanna practice your Spanish with them. Marry someone that you love, please. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Check out Spanish55.com for a free tutoring consult. Y hasta pronto.